What's going on, guys? This is Carl with the Racerred channel. Heading out here to Big Willow, a 7,000 acre area that was shut down by the BLM in conjunction with some environmental groups. Back in 2009 it was shut down. Also, the local landowner joined forces with those two groups because the local landowner did not want people touching his property in order to get to the BLM land. So it was kind of a three-factor deal. The BLM and the federal government is always open. They're always open to using useful idiots to get their agenda accomplished, and that's what happened out here. In my last video, I described a lot of, instead of just talking about it, which I normally do, I actually showed you the sources of a lot of content and information regarding what I call the demon underneath the smiley mask. And you know, when we're fighting the BLM for little bits of land here and there, they're really, right now they have the smiley mask on and they give you this illusion that you're able to kind of make things happen if you really want to. But what I meant by making them take off the smiley mask and that way you're able to fight the real demon, it's pretty much outlined in my most recent video, and I'm gonna get doom and gloom here on you guys, but once you're talking about the billionaire ruling class like Ted Turner, you got some really huge high-class people that are in that ruling class. And Ted Turner owns CNN. He created Captain Planet to throw propaganda out there for the kids. He was in bed with the UN. He donated $1 billion to the UN, who is known to be forwarding the green movement, aka the communist movement. And so, unfortunately, once you start talking about that class, once you quit grabbing at the leaves of tyranny and you start chopping at the roots, you run the risk of being suicided. So that's kind of it should be a concern. There's some really powerful people, and if they don't like what you're saying and you're getting to the truth, they could take you out. And I've noticed they don't take out people who are pretty mainstream. They take out lower level people, and they also take out people who are in the court systems. I mean, you mess with the Clintons and you're pretty much done. If you're a whistleblower, you are donezo when it comes to these billionaires. Yeah, so it's a sketchy situation for sure, and it's a sketchy situation for all of us right now. But I decided to come out here and show you guys this area which was shut down for the MilkVtek weed back in 2009. This is an area that I discovered right before it got shut down. I was riding out here often, especially with beginner riders, because it's perfect for taking beginners out. There's really no ruts out here on a lot of this stuff. Like right here there is, but this is just the main deal right here. In 2008, 2009, there would be single track all over this area instead of just this one track coming through here, and it spanned a pretty large area. And I just wanted to show you guys how big of an area. So the MilkVtek plant is one that grows on the hillsides. Generally, trails follow the ridges. It was completely unfounded. The reasons for closing this whole area down was completely unfounded. Most people will focus right in front of me on the trail here, and this one's got a little bit of deterioration from the rain, but that's fairly normal. The rain's got to go somewhere. You'll also find that on this side where there is no trail, but it's underneath the grass. Also, if you look this direction, so if you look this direction, this amount of surface area, as far as you can see, not touched by any trails. So that's something to keep in mind. Every time I'm out riding, I could stop, turn sideways, and show you out here. I mean, there's a great expanse of land that is never touched. We've lived in harmony out here with nature for as long as bikes have been around. So don't ever let anybody tell you that it's your fault that anything is getting shut down. It's something that was going to happen regardless. And so yeah, this stuff out here unfortunately is shut down. This one little road is not, but it's pretty short-lived. I think the thing that I'm on right now, I think it goes about 1 mile. There used to be a parking area back in here, and the riding was, like I said, really good in here. I like this place a lot better than I like just about anywhere in this vicinity, especially when I'm riding with lower level riders who need to have terrain that they can actually ride and not be getting caught in ruts and hitting gigantic bumps and stuff like that, big side hills. This stuff, these rolling hills are grassy and just really nice to ride. Alright guys, so I just wanted to verify where I'm at right now. I'm using Onyx Off-Road Maps right now, and this is the prime area that I like to use these maps because I can tell whether or not I'm on BLM. Here's BLM right here, colored in yellow, and currently I'm on BLM land right here, and I passed through a little bit of Idaho state land as well. And what I've got to be careful of is the private property around me, because these guys, I've heard, are not friendly to off-road enthusiasts. So you got to be careful about where you ride. And these Onyx off-road maps are amazing. But I'm also working with them, so if you use the code Racerred when you get this map on your phone, it'll give you a 20% off. Somebody out here got in bed with the government because they didn't like people using their land in order to get to the BLM land. So a lot of the stuff out here, there's like a small little section of private property before you get to the BLM land. And I mean small. It's like, I mean, maybe half an acre or something like that, maybe an acre. And really nothing major. And I don't know what the deal is with that, why it fell that way, but it did. And so that private property owner unfortunately was not on the side of freedom and decided to wreck it for the entire community out here. Regardless of him though, there was that plant that they found, and so there were multiple angles that they were coming from, and the community was going to fight the closures out here. However, the Sierra Club got involved, and once the Sierra Club gets involved, there's big money there, and pretty much everybody knows that once they say, hey, now we're here, everybody just kind of tucks and runs because they have so much money that is being donated by God knows who, that they're unstoppable. Nobody can match their amount of money. So that's a very unfortunate truth right there, is if funds are unlimited like the Sierra Clubs, then it's hard to overcome that. And good people donate to the Sierra Club. That's what's so sad, is that people with good hearts and who think they're doing the right thing see the Sierra Club and they're like, oh, of course, you know, they're gonna do good things in the world, I want to donate to this one. It's nothing could be further from the truth. So I'm coming up on the end of the park right here, and As you can see around me, it's just these green grass, just rolling hills. And it was a lot of fun to ride out here. Like I said, it looked about the same. The motorcycle tracks weren't everywhere, obviously. There was a couple here and there. You can see this one going off to the side here. This is a four-wheeler track. You start driving out here and there's a sign that directs you to the little motorcycle park in Clay Peak. And Clay Peak is about the size of a postage stamp, right next to a dump. And that's where they want you to ride instead of here. So the government said, well, you know, you can't ride the 7,000 acres out here, which is a really nice spot, good clean air, beautiful terrain, really very different than a lot of areas around here. It's just a great spot. We'll do away with that spot, but we'll give you 1 square mile next to a dump, and that should suffice. Sounds about right. And when it comes to your riding areas, it's just like anything. You're gonna have 1 or 2 people who are absolutely just gonna wreck it, and you can't judge the entire community based off of that. You can have 1,000 riders who come out and they're respectful and they don't throw their trash all over the place. Then you'll have one guy out of that 1,000 that comes out half drunk, dumps all the trash out of his truck onto the ground, rides off the trails and just tears up the trails, makes gigantic ruts everywhere, just does hill climbs the whole time, blasts through the parking lots and almost wrecks into people, and then leaves. And that's 1 out of 1,000 will do something like that. And if you go to a shooting area, a common shooting area, a popular spot that people shoot at, which I do often, you'll see the same thing. It's all torn up. Every time I go to one of these shooting areas, it's completely torn up. People leave their trash out there. Somebody dumped a dead cow at one of the spots that I go to. So it stinks out there now. There's a big pile of trash that they dumped out of their trailer. That's just people. People are disgusting. But that's what I'm trying to say is that's 1 out of 1,000 people. That's not people. So the rest of us are going to clean up after that person. And we're not scumbags. We're not going to get drunk and just start shooting signs and, you know, porta potties and whatever. We're just going to go out there and have fun and leave it for the next person so that they can actually have fun too. And the motorcycle community has been great. Here locally, we've made sure to clean up after the 0.1%. We have made sure that we are really taking care of our trails, our land, our trash. We're not messing everything up. And I've been pretty impressed with the whole community, and especially those who go far into the secluded areas. Those are the types that are really going to take care of things. The people who are tearing stuff up, they pretty much just stay in the parking lots. They show up at Hemingway Butte, party for a little bit and leave. So you don't really find them out in the vast trail system that we have here, because it takes skill and discipline to get way out there. And so that you pretty much just get the enthusiasts, and the motorcycle enthusiast is a really respectful person, generally speaking. Anyways, guys, I'm just taking a ride out through the area here. This is an area that, like I said, I used to ride, and now they have this one kind of razor trail through here. And the difference between now and when I rode out here is not much, except for you can't go off. I mean, as far as looking around, it's not like there were trails everywhere. It was just like a trail here, a trail there. But you could really travel out here. In 2009, you could pretty much ride these ridges and hills way out. It was pretty cool. A lot of these closures are just spread out far enough to where people are forgetful. A lot of the motorcycle community in 2009 was saying, well, we're going to ride it anyway. We're not going to comply with the government's stupid rules that they made up so that we can't enjoy the outdoors. We're just gonna ride. Well, do you see how that worked out, guys? Do you see any riders out here? Except for me. You got me riding the single razor trail, and that's all she wrote. It's just, there's nothing out here anymore. There's no riders. Generally, from what I've seen, if you stop riding a trail, you can't even tell it was there a couple years later. So I couldn't even tell you where the trails used to be, because they return back. All it is just a spot where the vegetation doesn't grow anymore. Essentially, a bike just rubs it smooth so that the vegetation doesn't grow there. As long as it's being used, it grows right back once the bike stops using that spot. A lot of environmental groups will have you thinking that it takes thousands of years to develop a topsoil that plants can grow on, and that's not true at all. I've witnessed otherwise firsthand. And this is an example right here. There used to be single track dirt bike trails all over right here. When it comes to freedom, I think you gotta be one of two people. Well, you gotta be one person, really. You gotta be the person who enjoys the laughter. By that I mean you have to see other people doing stuff, even if they're touching your property or something, and you gotta enjoy that. Just breathe out and say, it's liberty. I love hearing that. I love hearing people having fun, going out enjoying this life. The other type says, ow, how loud and obnoxious are they? And then files all kinds of paperwork, starts calling up the daddy government, and starts pitting the government against the people, and the government loves it when you do that. So be the first kind. As long as nobody is directly harming you, then freedom is there. Freedom is annoying and loud and dangerous, and it's beautiful. It's definitely not a safe thing. It should be people shooting guns and riding motorcycles and all the stuff that's dangerous. Like I've always said, the safest place on this planet is prison. You want true safety, you gotta get your spot as close to prison as possible. Yeah, if you look every direction here, you just have vast expanse of just nothing. This trail wraps around, goes this direction. It drops down into a road here pretty soon. But if you don't like the way this looks right here, where it just rubbed the surface off where plants don't grow on it, then look to your right and just look off in the distance. Do you see anything here? Think about the ratio that is covered in just everything. Plant life, just all kinds of vegetation. Think of the ratio of this gigantic, as far as you can see in every direction, compared to this little guy. That's all you need to know right there. Alright guys, thanks for watching the video. I think I'm gonna drop down into the road and start heading back. I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.
Speaking of Wyoming.
Alright guys, I just wanted to give my Patreon members a shout out. That'd be Lance Darnell, Jim Jolson Jr., Kurt Kinghorn, Daniel Rausch, Brian Thomason, Mike Slater, Wade James, Jared Bauer, Moto Creek, and Nathan Young. I really appreciate each and every one of you guys. Thank you.